Hi, it's Ramonda Catria with www.brickhousetalk.com. And today my special guest is someone that wears many, many hats. This guy is very, very talented. And for those who don't know him, you're in for a treat. My special guest today is Marcus Big Spence Spencer. How are you today, Marcus?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, thank you so much for stopping by Brickhouse Talk. We really appreciate it. And, you know, like I said earlier, there may be some, very few, that don't know about you. So if you could please give the viewers a little introduction of you, please.
Yeah, so once again, I used to just go by Big Spence, but now I'm transitioning. Marcus Spencer is my legal name. So I'm transitioning to that. So I'm an actor, I'm a producer, and a writer as well. So I write films, produce them, and I'm in a lot of films, commercials, television shows. That's what I do.
Okay, but let's go back to the Big Spence now. I understand that someone like a very well-known actor gave you that name on a movie, one of your first movie breaks that you had. Care to elaborate?
Yeah, so this guy, you may know him, goes by Big Will Smith, you know. So I worked on Pursuit of Happiness, and I'm talking to him, and we have a lot of dialogue, and he's like, oh yeah, so what's your name? And at that point, I told him, well, everyone calls me Spence. He says, why? And I said, well, my last name is Spencer, and I play football. And at the time, I was a lot bigger, so he's like, okay, Big Spence. So that's where that comes from, so yeah.
Wow, that's really, really neat. So how was it working with Will Smith?
It was great working with Will. He actually taught me a lot personally and also indirectly. As he was teaching Jaden, it was Jaden's first film, he didn't realize that he was teaching me as well, things that he taught as far as there was a scene where Jaden didn't really like the dialogue, so he was telling his dad, you know, Dad, I really wouldn't say it like that. So Jaden, I believe, was 6 at the time, 6 or 7, and Will says, hey, you're an actor. He said, if you don't think that that's right, talk to the director and let him know. He said, now, the director's also an artist, so he may not go along with what you say, but it's your job to tell him that. So director comes over, and Jaden says, you know, I don't think I would say it like this. I think I would do it like this. And the director's like, oh, yeah, that's great. Okay, but do it like I said it. So it was good, though, but it taught me that, you know, at that, my first project, that it's very smart, and it showed me that that's what I should do, talk to the director, because I am in a position to do my best, and I can't do my best without letting him know what I do. So.
Okay, Marcus, I had the opportunity to do a lot of research on you, and I do want to commend you for being the actor, producer, and writer that you are, but you went through a lot to get to this point. You know, I understand you grew up in between two of the toughest cities in the Bay Area. Can you tell me how did that affect you, and, you know, how does that make you the man you are today?
Really, it didn't affect me as much as people would think. My grandmother did a lot to shield me, so I didn't realize that I was in bad cities until I got older. I lived in Oakland. That's where I grew up for the first part, and then I moved to Richmond, which is equally as bad. And I was just always in so many different programs. So I was in teen centers. I played football, basketball, like all the way growing up, baseball. So I was always active. And my grandmother made sure that she always told me that an idle mind is the devil's playground. So because I always had things to do, which is, I think, is a problem right now because a lot of kids don't have things to do. But for me, everything was free. At that time, you don't have to pay for all these different things. So it was a great thing. After that, I got older, and high school, most of my high school I went to Albany, which is in between Berkeley and El Cerrito. So that's a very small city, so I learned a lot of, what can I say, a lot of my valuable lessons came from there as far as how to deal with different kind of people and how business worked and things like that. So, but yeah, back to the question, yeah, my grandmother basically showed me from everything. And as I got older, I realized that I didn't have it as bad as most people. I have friends that I grew up within Oakland and Richmond that stayed in those cities, and we turned out differently. You know, things that they did I wasn't into because I played sports all the way up. I was in anti-drug groups and anti-tobacco groups, and I went around and did stings on liquor stores and all these different things. I was with the, you know, PAL leagues and things like that. So that's what did it, and I just wanted to be a good person and wanted to do what I enjoy.
You had to make some adult decisions growing up as well, because I understand that you had a scholarship for football. Yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah, big Spence. So you had a scholarship, and you turned it down because you took care of your mother, who was ill, and your little brother. Let's talk about that.
Well, yeah, my grandmother raised me until I was 16, and she went through the foster care system to get me. And when I was 16, I wound up moving in with my mom. She had left to Vegas, Las Vegas, and then she came back. So lived with her, and I lived with her for a year. And the beginning of the year was great. It was, it was magnificent. And then I started to see the real person, and at that point, like she used to yell and cuss and things like that. And I wasn't used to that, and I was not gonna get used to it. So I explained to her that, I can't stay. So I wound up moving in with one of my brothers in Sacramento, is where I did my senior year in high school. And wound up getting a scholarship to Sac State and also Clark, Atlanta for football. And my mom then went to the hospital. She had emphysema. And one of her lungs was like totally gone, and the other one was 80% damaged. So she was on oxygen 24 hours a day. And so at that point, the doctor said she had 7 months to live. So I then moved from Sacramento, moved back to Oakland, because that's where my mom was, and I took care of her. And at that point, she wound up living 7 years, and in that time, I wound up, going to Merritt Junior College, and I went to Cal Berkeley. I played semi-pro football for 2 years, so those things helped me. So initially, football is what I wanted to do. NFL is what I wanted to do, and right now, I have a nephew, Victor Hugo Spencer II. He's playing for Humboldt State, so watch for him. Yeah, so. And actually, so I lived with him in Sacramento with my nephew, and my brother is Hugo Spencer, the first or senior. And so I lived there, and so my nephew is gonna do the football thing instead of me. But it's a good thing,
Is there an actor or an actress that inspired you? Someone. Well, tell me this: who would you like to work with first? Tell me what actor or actress you would like to work with.
Well, I would like to work. I would definitely want to work with Will Smith again as a counterpart. I want to work with Denzel Washington. I want to work with Meryl Streep. I want to work with Tom Hanks. There's a lot. All the greats. I want to work with anybody out there. This is what I do. So I don't discriminate. I hope that they don't discriminate against me as well. So, but yeah, I just want. It's more about the project. The quality project that's gonna change lives. That's what I like.
And as a producer, let's talk about some of the projects that you've done, some of the movies that you've either wrote or have appeared in.
Okay. Well, as a producer, I wrote and produced a film called Milk Money. That should be coming out at the end of the year. Things that's going to make you scratch your head, and there's a lot of imagery I don't want to really give out. But you can check out the trailer on YouTube, Milk Money, or go to the website, milkmoneythemovie.com. Everything's there. So.
What about Fruitvale?
Fruitvale, great film. That film was about Oscar Grant. So I didn't produce this film. I was just in the film. And interesting story, when I get to set, I don't know who the director is. I know the director's name, but I don't know him personally. And I get there and I see, because I coach football too. I coach championship teams. And one of the players that I coached was actually in the film. And I was like, hey, how you doing? And he was like, oh, everything's good. I said, how's your family? Because it was years ago. And he's like, oh, yeah, my dad's great. My mom's great. Yeah, my brother's here. He's over there. I was like, oh, yeah. Which one is he? He's like, oh, Ryan. I was like, Ryan? He's like, yeah, the guy in charge. I'm like, oh, what's up? So, so I was actually affiliated and didn't really realize that I was affiliated prior to the film. So, and then most of the main characters I played football with, they went to Berkeley High and El Cerrito High. So I went to Albany. So we were all, clashing. But we're great people. And basically the film, back to the film is about Oscar Grant, who was shot by the BART police. And the guy who shot him wound up going to jail and prison, but not as long as he should have, so people think. And Octavia Spencer was in it. Great producer in the film, Forrest Whitaker. So Forrest Whitaker's an Oscar winner, he produced it. Octavia Spencer, Oscar winner, she was the mom of Oscar Grant. So Michael B. Jordan played Oscar Grant. So it was a great film to work on. And it was Bay Area, so.
Right, and being that it was a true story, how did it feel being on set and knowing that this actually happened?
For me, it was kind of crazy because watching the scenes unfold, you don't really know what is reality and what, because some of the film, every film has some things in it that is not actually true to make the film better and make you want to watch it. So to see certain things, every time I saw a scene, I'd have to do research to see if that was like, okay, did that really happen or is that for effect? So, but yeah, a lot of the stuff in that film was like reality.
So, it's said that for an actor, comedian, singer, or what have you, you have to go to LA to really make it. And from everything you just disclosed to me, all the projects you've worked on, all the movies you've written, how are you able to sustain, and, keep your name out there and be successful as you are here in the Bay Area?
Well, being in LA that's how it used to be. You had to have been there because that's where everything was. There was no internet. There was no breakdown services. So, if there's an audition, you won't know about it unless you're in LA. So now there's so much technology. You could do video auditions. You can, some people do Skype interviews. I haven't, but people do those. And at this day and age, because filmmaking is so easy, a lot of people can do it. They don't have to spend millions and millions of dollars to do this at this point. So people are making films everywhere. There's films being made in Oakland. There's films being made in Vacaville, which is, Northern California, Sacramento. So, and other states. Atlanta is a big film market now. Michigan, I worked in that area as well. So you don't have to be, it doesn't matter where you are. And I realized this when I actually auditioned for a film called Expendables. And not the second one, but the first one. And I auditioned for them. They liked me, and they had me come back. And the whole film shot in Brazil. So when I went to a callback, they said, we're filming in Brazil. Do you have a passport? I was like, absolutely. I didn't have a passport, but I went out and got one. I wound up not getting booked on the film, but that showed me there that if everybody's going to Brazil, then none of these people live in Brazil. So you don't have to be where the film is to work. And there's people that live here. Danny Glover, a good friend of mine, he lives in San Francisco. So, I talk to him probably once a month. So, and he lives here. So, and he's working, he has a show, I forget the name of his show right now, but it doesn't matter where you live. It matters that you need to get to where the filming is. So, that's how it goes.
It's been great. So what projects can we expect from you in the future? What are you working on?
I'm working on getting ready to start a film, or actually filming, but I just got picked up on a film called Proprietary Lender. And that film is actually shooting in Fairfield. And I'll tell you a little more on that when I get clearance. But yeah, that film is good. Also, The American Dream will be finishing up soon. So, and that trailer will be out soon. Money for Angels just screened. So check that out. And, you can, we go show a clip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'll see the clip of that and make sure that, you search Big Spence. Website, www.bigspence.net. Check me out on Facebook, /Big Spence 2. So,
Twitter?
Yeah. Oh, Twitter, Spence the Actor, SPENCE, the Actor. So, yeah, there you go.
When we was communicating via Facebook, I was like, I have to get him in the studio. And we've worked really hard to do this. And I'm so excited that you're here, and I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you on the big screen. You are a very talented actor. And if you're looking for how did you get started? You were extra.
Yes.
Extra. Hey, no. But anyways, thank you so much for stopping by. Is there anyone that you want to give any, I say shouts, so I don't know if that's the right term, but, any acknowledgments to?
Yeah, I would like to thank, Team Big Spence. There's a lot of people surrounding me right now, pushing me, helping me, fulfill my dreams. So that, I want to thank God. I want to thank everybody out there watching. Great. I love being here. And thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And Sue, she's wonderful. You have a great publicist. I really like her.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Sue, that's part of Team Big Spence. I love it. Yeah, so.
Absolutely. Well, again, please keep in contact with us. We would like to keep our viewers updated on you and your progress. And thank you so much for stopping by Brickhouse Talk.
Thank you.
I am Ramonda Cottrell with www.brickhousetalk.com.